Oh no, it is never fixed, Mark, but looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star for every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height's untaken. Bit of Shakespeare for you. My name is Henry Marsh. I'm a brain surgeon in England, and I've written a worldwide best-selling book about my life as a brain surgeon. I dislike most about myself. I think my main failure is impatience. I'm rather impatient. I'm not a very good listener. My wife is always criticizing me for interrupting and finishing other people's sentence for them. I've got a little bit better with age, perhaps. My state of mind right now is of one feeling very relaxed. I was thinking how beautiful. I have not been to Colombia before. Cartagena is very, very beautiful. I was thinking how it would be lovely to come back here. But one of the difficulties of my life is my wife, who I love dearly and is a very, very clever person and is very beautiful, but she has very poor health. She has a nasty chronic illness called Crohn's disease, which means it's very difficult for her to travel. I would love to come back here for a holiday with her, but because of her health, we cannot really do things like that together very easily. And that is, we accept that, we live with that. But I was thinking how sad it was, because she would love it here. It's so beautiful. My idea of perfect happiness is being with my family, and particularly my grandchild. I have one granddaughter. As one gets older, I think your children and your grandchildren mean more and more to you. That's the first form of happiness. The second, when I write, I go to a very ancient 15th century library in Oxford, of a university town where I live. And I'd go for a long run. I'd want to run about 15 kilometers around Oxford, have a shower, and then go into the library and spend 2 hours in this ancient medieval library, usually with nobody else there, and I'd then just write for 2 hours. And it was almost like a form of meditation, and this was a wonderful experience. I think, I'm proud of my family, I'm proud of my children, who are all very good people, and that means a lot to me. And I think I'm proud of my book. I mean, I hope I've been a good doctor and a good surgeon, but if I had not done that work, somebody else could have done it. I made some contributions to surgery, but again, if I had not done that, somebody else would have done. But I would like to think my book is something special, and it's unusual. I think it's true to say no doctor has written a book like this before, being very honest about the difficulties. I love using my hands. I make furniture, I keep bees, I do all my own building work, all of it, wiring, electricity, plumbing, everything. But also I'm an intellectual as well, so I combine my hands and my head, and that with my education, I think, was why I was able to write the book that I did. So that I'm proud of. I like to joke that my most treasured possession is my suicide kit. This is partly joking, but when is the best time to die is partly what the book is about. Death is nothing. It's nothing. It's the end. I don't believe in any sort of afterlife. If you see people who have suffered personality change as a result of damage to the front of the brain, it seems clear to me that everything we are is our brain. Consciousness is made by brains, and when the brain dies, everything else goes. I don't like that. I think it's rather sad, but I cannot escape that conclusion. We're all frightened of death, but death is nothing. It's an irrational fear. But the process of dying, in particular the loss of dignity, the loss of autonomy, which I witness all the time at work, that I find that a very, very unpleasant prospect. I tell in my book the story of my mother's death, who died from metastatic breast cancer at the age of 82. And death is always sad and horrible, but she had a very fine death. She died in her own bed at home, looked after by me and one of my sisters, who was a nurse, with all the family. And she was quite well until about 3 weeks. And she knew she was dying, so we could talk about it. We could all say goodbye to her. But she had religious faith. She was a sincere Christian, which I am not. And I think that helped her a bit. She did not feel that death was the end. I don't want to be young again because I was selfish, stupid, immature. I look back on my young self with pure horror. My children are now in their 30s, and I feel I'm very, very lucky. They seem to quite like me. I feel I'm very fortunate. Love, affection is built into our brains as well. I think morality is a part of our genetic inheritance. Problem is, how hard should you try to keep alive, to stay alive when you're old? The longer we live, the more expensive it gets, the more difficult it gets. More of us will get Alzheimer's. And even if medical science finds a cure for Alzheimer's, we then have to die from something else, which might be even more expensive. So when do we stop? Very difficult to know.